Netanyahu is on his way to the United States to tell Trump what to do. He is going to demand that Trump do more and ask for more from Iran. This is old footage, by the way. We don't have him here yet in the country, but he's met with Donald Trump already 6 times. More than any other leader has shown up here to the United States. Netanyahu has been here to ensure that he is still the puppet master. That's what it feels like. That's what it looks like every time he shows up. This is the AP reporting. Netanyahu wants Trump to demand more from Iran. The leaders will meet this week. Goes on to say in this article that Israel has long called for Iran to cease all uranium enrichment, dial back its ballistic missile program, and cut ties to militant groups across the region. Iran has always rejected those demands, saying it would only accept some limits on its nuclear program in return for sanctions relief. But apparently Netanyahu is on his way right now. He might have already landed, but I think he's actually set to land technically tomorrow morning. And he is going to be encouraging President Donald Trump to expand the scope of already high-stakes nuclear talks with Iran. So he is wanting to demand what he knows Iran will not accept. This is the problem with what Netanyahu wants. He's going to demand that Trump demand something that Iran has already said, that is a red line, we are not going to do it. And Bibi Netanyahu knows that Iran won't do it, and that is going to give Israel the excuse to bomb Iran. And after they bomb Iran, what will happen? The United States will have to step in and be the big brother protector or the little brother protector. I don't know which one we are these days. We're going to have to step in, and we're going to have to fight the war for Israel. Because our politicians, who are clearly bribed, blackmailed, and brainwashed, will demand that the United States fight the war for Israel because Israel's losing. They're going to be pummeled if we don't. We must. And so we end up at war with Iran because Netanyahu flies in, demands something from Trump. Trump doesn't want to do it. Netanyahu, of course, in person presents whatever leverage he has over Donald Trump in whatever way he's got it. And next thing we know, Iran is being told to do something they're not going to do. Bibi Netanyahu then uses it as an excuse, and we're at war. I mean, it's just it's been the same playbook all along, but many have not fallen for it in the past. And the question is whether or not Donald Trump will actually fall for it. And is he actually going to do what the Israelis really, really want him to do, which is finally to wage war with Iran? The Times of Israel also reports that Netanyahu is also here to tell Trump that phase 2 of Gaza peace plan is not moving. So he's wanting to take the strip. He even said in an interview with Fox News just the other day that, yes, he intends to control the Gaza Strip entirely, that Israel intends to control it, that it will not be Palestinian. And now Times of Israel is reporting in his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump tomorrow, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will stress that phase 2 of the Gaza ceasefire is not moving. An Israeli source with knowledge of the details tells the Times of Israel. Israel's been telling the U.S. that another IDF operation in Gaza is necessary in order to move to Trump's vision for Gaza and the region. So Israel's going to say to Trump, you want that Trump Gaza, you want that, amazing skyscraper city right on the ocean, then we're going to need to bomb Gaza again. That's what Netanyahu is planning on telling Trump. Suspicious timing. Again, this is suspicious timing. Here we've got the Epstein files rolling out. Names are being dropped. Donald Trump is sort of implicated in the files. He does appear in the files. We know he did hang out with Epstein. But then all we're seeing right now are files of Trump turning on Epstein, turning him in, ratting him out. So he's looking like the good guy. And now Netanyahu shows up just right at that opportune time and is saying 2 demands that are totally and completely outrageous to the American people. And those 2 demands, war with Iran, and we're going to bomb Gaza. Totally and completely incompatible with the desire of the American people. And our American president, who's sworn in to do what the American people want, instead is going to be walked on a leash by his master. Is he going to do it or is he not? Hopefully he does not. The Iranians are even warning, they're like, guys, you've just made friends with some real toxic people here who keep trying to destroy your country. This is Ali Larijani. He is Iran's top security official, and he just tweeted out, or he was actually being interviewed, and this was today, and he says, Netanyahu is now on his way to the United States. Americans must think wisely and not allow him, through posturing, to imply before his flight that I want to go and teach Americans the framework of the nuclear negotiations. They must remain alert to the destructive role of the Zionists. Yeah. That is what Netanyahu is thinking. He's thinking he's coming here and he's going to tell us this is what it's going to be with Iran. And I'm seeing reports all day where, people are saying, Iran thinks it's just negotiating with the United States. But really, they're saying this in a bragging way, which is really odd. But really, they're negotiating with the United States and Israel. They're trying to, these reports are clearly coming from kind of a pro-Israel bent. It's very weird. It's like, yeah, I think Iran is fully aware who they're actually negotiating with. They know they're dealing with Israelis that are just being blocked by the United States, covered, they're hiding behind them. And they know this. The Iranians are not stupid. So, yes, Iran knows that they're negotiating with the United States and Israel, and that they're really negotiating with Israel because the U.S. is just doing whatever it is Israel wants. It's terrible. It's disgusting. And here we are. Our foreign policy just seems to be ruled by whatever Israel wants. And here is another example of that. It's not just Iran. It's not just Gaza. But it's Venezuela also. Look at this. Venezuela sends first oil shipment to Israel in years in sign of relations improving. I wonder why that would be. We kidnapped their president. We're holding the country's leaders hostage, essentially, like really literally hostage. We're holding Maduro hostage, and then we're holding the rest of them figuratively hostage. They know that they're next if they don't do exactly what the United States wants them to do. And so what does Venezuela do? They now are sending oil tankers to Israel for the first time in years, right? I wonder why that would be. So the United States is now ensuring that this oil, which remember when Donald Trump said it was going to be for America, it was going to help us out, it was going to be for us, that it was a matter of, good business sense and security for this oil to come to the United States, which I'm sure some of it is. But now it's also going to Israel. Of course it is. It says Venezuela sent its first shipment of crude oil to Israel in several years. The shipment represents a renewal of contacts between the Venezuelan government and Israel ever since former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez cut relations in 2009. So isn't that fun? Isn't that special? The United States just waging war, kidnapping presidents, bombing children or supporting the bombing of children, supporting genocide. We're doing all of this because of Israel. But no, this has nothing to do with the Epstein files, they try to tell us. There's nothing to see there. That's just a pedo ring. That has nothing to do with blackmail and leverage and ensuring that there's always this control over our foreign policy. When are we going to get sick of it? When are we going to see all of these dots continue? I think we're seeing it now. I think many people are now finally waking up to it. But a lot of people, and a lot of people who don't even follow politics, they're not even as engaged as you and I are. They're not watching these types of shows all the time. They're not on X all day, every day. And yet even they're saying, wow, we're doing everything for Israel. Gee, our country's been taken over and we're doing everything for this foreign Middle Eastern country. And a lot of people are starting to get suspicious of that, and they're getting pretty sick of it. So we'll see how these talks, the talking to that Netanyahu gives Trump, we'll see how that pans out. And if we end up at war with Iran, I have to say I'm really glad to see that Trump hasn't caved so far to this. So we'll see how far he's willing to go. And if he can escape this presidency without waging war with Iran, we can only be so lucky. Thanks for watching this clip from the full Kim Iversen Show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, for free at KimIversonShow.com. See you there.